Last time in North Wales, we spent a day climbing some slate mega classics at Dinorwig.
On this day.
Oh, brilliant! Forayed into the realms of soloing.
Is this the new frontier for Richard?
And battled with marginal gear placements.
Lots of desperately small bad bits of gear.
In part 2 of our North Wales trip, we attempt to scramble Amphitheatre Buttress with only a couple of minor disasters. Amphitheatre Buttress is described as a long mountain adventure with interesting climbing and stunning views. Situated on the east face of Carneth Llewellyn, this 300-metre scramble tackles some varied climbing up slabs, grooves and bushes to reach the final spectacular gendarmes or pinnacles. Join us as we attempt the route on a windy weekend in October. After a quick breakfast, we packed up our things and began the 7-kilometre approach from Ogwen Valley. We hadn't chosen the closest place to park, but given it was nothing short of a miracle that Ogwen even had parking in the first place, we were unwilling to find a closer place to begin from. So the plan for today is to do Amphitheatre Buttress, which is a long sort of 300-metre scramble on the side of this mountain, because I don't want to screw up the pronunciation here. I think we're going to try simul climbing or sort of soloing large portions of it for speed, and then maybe roping up for a little bit of the perhaps trickier crux sections. I think we've got maybe another 45 minutes to an hour of approach. We've got a very steep section coming up here with some probably overpacked heavy bags, so we'll see how that goes. So we met a guy in the car park who said, "Oh, that's a bloody long way."
What are you doing today?
A VDiff called Amphitheatre Buttress, there you go.
Miles away!
It's not that far.
And none of us believed him until we started hiking up the route.
I remember walking to it about 10 years ago. It's an amazing route, don't get me wrong, it's really good, but it's a lot. It's a flat walk, at least on a road.
Yeah, it's a nice flat walk up the hill.
It's definitely worth it. It's really nice.
Oh.
You'll get warm. You'll be really warm by the time you're there. And actually, I guess it's less of a savage walk than, say, walking up to Heather Terrace or something. It's not. But anyway, have a lovely day.
Yeah,
it's an
you too,
amazing
you
route,
too.
so make the most of it.
Brilliant.
And with that firm affirmation that the long approach would definitely be worth it, we began the long slog up the mountain until we reached the shoulder, where the route finally came into view and a mid-morning tea break was needed.
High in the mountains of North Wales, there exists a route that there are whispers of in the pubs of...
What are you doing?
You're ruining my vlog!
What are you doing?
Climbers in Pete's Eats. I was totally convinced after waking up at the ridiculous hour of 7 AM that we would be the only people on this route. But as it turns out, we've arrived and there's already 2 other parties on the route that we can see, and possibly even more that we can't.
Then ensued a familiar bushwhack approach down the other side of the steep shoulder.
We're on our way down to the start of the route, and it seems to be a little bit less party than the guide let on. We're currently hacking down what I can only describe as a heather-covered slope with steep drop-offs. Little update, I just checked Strava and it's definitely off route. We need to be 100 metres that way, so we're going to do our best to get to the bottom of this gully and then work our way across back to the wherever the route is. Lucy and Richard have both put on climbing shoes and I'm stuck with my mountaineering boots because I didn't bring any climbing shoes. But I'm still feeling confident and I won't regret this.
Amphitheatre Buttress comprises 5 distinct sections of scrambling. The route begins on a pocketed slab, which leads to the base of an imposing wall. This next section tackles the crux, a polished and exposed groove that goes around VDiff, and obviously Richard decided to solo it. leads to a wide ledge ideally suited for tea breaks. It was on the next section where a small disaster struck. Oh dear, we've just had our first drone accident. I was flying the drone in towards the side of the cliff, grabbed it, it was blown out of my hand, caught the edge of a rock and rolled over and landed in some bushes just over there down the side of the cliff. It's okay. It's kind of come open on one side. I think it's still sort of working, but I don't think these conditions really lend themselves to drone flying. Oopsies. A more vegetated section follows the ridgeline to reach the base of the gendarmes, which are arguably the most impressive section of the route, and one that Rob was especially keen to get a photo on. Richard, however, took a slightly more cautious approach.
What the fuck was that? Rob, it's fucking... I'm very high up. Okay. 3, 2, 1. I don't think you understand how high I am.
I don't think you should jump.
I don't think I should jump either.
I think you should come back.
I'm too clumsy.
Behind the scenes. Richard's first time using a DSLR.
I've used a DSLR before.
No,
Wait,
you
was
haven't.
it DSLR?
I don't even know how to say it.
Shut up, Lisa.
Richard, what are you doing?
Scrambling.
He's doing a tacky boulder move on a VDiff.
It's not even that, we're off the VDiff.
It's mostly slab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Following the gendarmes, a final short section of scrambling leads to the top of the ridge, where we indulged in tea break number 4 before making our way to the summit of Carneth Llewellyn. Like majestic.
I'm looking majestic.
You look like an old man.
How do I look like an old man?
We then made our way back to Ogwyn via the less well-trodden and very boggy footpath.
This is the content we need. Ah, look at that. Brilliant.
Go and check out part 1 of our North Wales trip if you haven't seen it. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next adventure.